Hi guys, welcome to my channel. In the last class tutorial, we discussed about shell scripting and how to create a shell scripting file. Okay, in today's tutorial, we are going to talk about variables and comments in scripting. So let's open our shell scripting file with text editor. Yeah, in the last class, we discussed about how to create a shell scripting file and also how to print and execute hello world statement. Okay, we said to execute our script, we use // and the name of the script, which is begin.sh. So begin.sh. Now we're able to execute our script successfully. We have hello world. Okay, so that was one of the best practice that we discussed in our last tutorial. If you are visiting this page for the first time, you can check the link, check our channel on Unix and Shell to check on the last tutorial, then come back to this tutorial. Okay, let's start today's class. We are going to discuss about comments and variables in scripting. Okay, that is what we are discussing about for today. So what is comment? Comment line of a syntax or a code that is written, which are not executable by the command. It simply means that there are lines of code which are not executable, but they help to understand our script. Okay, that is what a comment is. Now, to declare a comment statement, we use the hash symbol like this. Now this has become a comment. It simply means that if I'm running this hello world or I'm running any code, the system will not see this as a code to execute. It will only see it as a code that is a comment which are not executable. So let's try to save this, Control S. Okay, and let's run our program again. Execute begin.sh. Okay, we see comment variable. Okay, this comment and variable in scripting, it was not executed, it was not displayed. Yeah, that is how to declare a comment in our scripting, in our shell scripting. Now the another way of declaring a comment is declaring comment after a word like this. Now we want to execute this hello world. Okay, we can put a comment in front of it by like this hash, then type the comment. This is also a comment. Okay, so if we save our file, we save and run the script as well, the comment is now going to be executed along with the code that was written. So we have hello world only. It simply means that the operating system is going to ignore the comment. So that is how to write a comment in our shell scripting. Now let's come to variables. Now variables. What are variables? Variables are temporary storage for saving our value or our data, and it's also a variable can also be not just a temporary, it can be a permanent storage for our values. Okay, yeah. Now talking about variables, there are two types of variables. We have two types of variable. The first one is the first variable is the system variable. Okay, we have the system variable. It is also known as the inbuilt or built-in or predefined variable. the predefined variable. This variable comes along with the system. Yeah. Okay. And another type of variable that we have again is user-defined variable. User-defined variable. This variable, it is the user that is running the script that define and give any specific name they want for this variable. Now, what is the difference between the system variable and the user-defined variable? The system variable is created and maintained by operating system. The system variable, they are created and maintained by the operating system itself. Okay, they are inbuilt variables, while the user-defined variable are created by the user for their own specific purpose. Now, let's give an example of a variable using system variables. Now, to do that, okay, we need to understand something. To execute a variables, we use the dollar, this dash dollar symbol to execute a variable. Now, variables in the system inbuilt variables are mostly defined by using capital letters. Okay. So now let's try to execute one system inbuilt variables. So for you to be able to understand this, okay. To do that, we are going to say okay, we're going to use echo executes. Then we need to put dollar in front of it. But if we do not put a dollar, a dash in front of it, and we said execute bash, okay, so let's save this. Bash is an inbuilt variable. So let's save this and run our program. Begin. The name of our file script is begin.sh extension. So let's run it. Now, when we run this, it executes hello world, our first statement, and it executes bash as a statement. Now, it sees this bash as a statement. Yeah, it can also print a statement directly without using a quote. Now, it sees it as a statement. It is not seeing it as a variable. Now, for the operating system to detect a word, an inbuilt or user-defined variable, we need to assign this dash dollar sign in front of it. Now it is going to see it as a variable and not a system. So let's save this again and execute it. Now, you see, it gives us the name of the bash file we are working on, which is user bin bash. Okay, so this is how to execute a variable in shell programming language. Okay, in Unix or shell scripting, this is how to execute your variables. Now you can as well have a statement before your variables. You can have a statement before a variable. We can say this is a name. Okay, so let's save this and execute that / the name of your file begin. That's the extension sh for shell. Now you can see we have the statement before the bash name. This is a name. Okay, user bin bash is the name of the bash we are working on presently. Okay, another inbuilt variables that we are going to talk about now is the bash version. Okay, bash version is also an inbuilt variable. So let's execute bash version echo to execute, then bash version, which is, it should be in capital letter, bash version. Okay, it is an inbuilt variables as well. So we can write a statement before it also and tell the machine that it should execute. This is a version. Okay, so with this, our system will be able to execute this successfully. So let's save this and execute again. Okay. Dot / the name of our script file, begin the extension sh. Okay. This is a version and it's execute the version of our bash that we are working on. Okay. So another inbuilt variables is echo $home. Okay, this will show the home directory. Okay, the home directory of our terminal is home bd nature tech. Okay, now another variables for inbuilt for the system variable that we can possibly know about is pwd. Now pwd stand for present working directory. Okay, so this will show us the present working directory environment that we are working on presently. So let's execute this and check. Now you can see the present directory we are working on, home bd nature desktop. We are on a desktop environment. Okay, so that is what we are going to, that's about the system variables. To know there are many and there are some other system variables as well. You can go to Google on any other platform to search for more and try to practice on it. Now let's talk about user-defined variables. Now let's talk about the user-defined variables. Okay, now for the user-defined variable, to define a variable, we can, let's say we want to define a variable name. Okay, the name is equals to Kodos. Okay, so we can tell the system to execute this. Okay, we can tell the system to execute this saying echo. Okay, and the variable name. Okay, so let's save this and execute this. Okay, before we execute, let's clear this so we can have a free space. So let's execute this now to check the output of our command. Okay, here it said line 19, command not found, the name. So it simply means that after every variables, there should be no space like this. After variable declaration, you have to ensure your equals to is close to it. There is no space, no indentation space. So let's save this now and run it again. Okay, is because I add double X to the name and the output I'm trying to print to execute is different from the variable name. So let's save this now. I've made the correction, name declared and name to execute. So let's execute this and check again. Now, when declaring a variable, you should avoid an indentation. There should be no indentation space when declaring a variable. So your variable should be together like this so that the system can identify it as variable. So let's save it and run this program now. / okay. Yeah, now this runs successful. It gives us the variable name Kodos. Okay, now we can also have a statement before the variable. We can have the name assigned is okay. We can have the statement before the variable. The name assigned is, so let's save this and run the program. Okay, so the name assigned is Kodos. So it shows the statement before the executed variable name. So this is a user-defined name. We can give any variable name for the user-defined variable. So the user-defined variable can be in a small letter. So another thing that we'll look into now is, let's say we want to declare a variable for value. Okay, so equals to 10. Our value is equals to 10. So if we try to execute this now, we may get a little command error. Like, okay, let's execute echo, and let's execute this. Let's execute the variable that we just created. So if we try to like print this now, let's execute this now. Okay, when we execute this, you can see the output we got is 0 val, which is that we only got an output for the statement, but not the output of this variable. The reason is that a variable should not start with a numerical number. It should start with a character, an alphabet. Yeah, so it should be a val or a value. So now let's execute this now. Let's execute the val. Now we have our value as 10. So when declaring a variable, a user-defined variable, it should start with a letter and not a number. Okay, that is another thing we can as well look into. Also, the next thing we are going to talk about as the last thing is how we can as well have a statement before. We can as well have a statement before the variable, like this is a value. Okay, so let's save this and execute it. Now we are able to find the output of our execution script, as this is value 10, just as we give the command here. So this is where we'll be stopping for this tutorial. In the next tutorial, we are going to learn more about shell scripting. Guys, don't forget to like and share the contents here, and don't forget to subscribe and bring more of your people to get to know more about this channel. Thank you.